Kate Middleton is asking for privacy in the wake of her cancer announcement last week. The Princess of Wales revealed her diagnosis on Friday, but didn't specify what type of cancer she's being treated for. She said she's going through preventative chemotherapy for her condition. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab is in London following all of these developments. Imtiaz, what else do we know about the diagnosis, the treatment, and all of the backlash against all of the conspiracies that resulted from her absence from the public eye last week?
Lilia, Tony, good to be with you. Well, as we know, Princess Catherine, who of course is commonly known as Kate here in the UK, is undergoing what she described as, quote, preventative chemotherapy. Now, preventative chemotherapy isn't an official term for a type of treatment here in the UK, and as we know, no further information has been given on the type of cancer that Kate has or the type of treatment that she's having. There are, however, current treatments that exist called, quote, chemoprevention, which lower the risk of getting cancer or of it returning in healthy people. But that level of specificity is not something that the palace has provided, and it comes at a time when Kensington Palace is being deeply criticized for its lack of transparency and clarity leading up to this extraordinary statement from the princess where she revealed that she's dealing with cancer. Guys.
You know, Imtiaz, there's going to be a return, apparently, to public duty sometime after Easter. Could you just remind me or underscore for me how this is going, this promise ties into the timing there? Is that still the plan for a post-Easter return?
Yeah, Tony, lots of questions about that, but most royal observers believe that Kate will not return to work during Easter or soon after Easter, as was previously announced by the palace. You, of course, may recall that in a statement, Kate said that her family now needs, and I'm quoting here, time, space, and privacy while she completes her treatment. And while it is traditional for the royal family to attend an Easter service, with them attending one at Windsor just last year, William and the kids are not expected to head to St. George's Chapel on the grounds of Berkshire Castle for Easter Day, although there are reports King Charles, who is also undergoing treatment for cancer, is planning to lead the royal family on Easter Sunday at their annual church service in what's being described as a public show of unity, while Princess Kate will be recuperating in Berkshire with her family. Guys.
Imtiaz, as it always happens with palace news, the palace is being criticized and also praised for transparency, lack thereof, over the health and overall, messaging around both Kate and King Charles. How are people responding in the UK?
Yeah, well, let's start with the praise. Of course, many people here in Britain and beyond have a huge amount of sympathy for Princess Catherine, a mother of 3 who's in the prime of her life and is now dealing with cancer. Kate, as we know, is frequently polled as one of the most popular senior members of the royal family. And as we've been saying, well, King Charles was open with his cancer diagnosis, although he hasn't said exactly what kind he has from the beginning. The revelation from the princess, after weeks of often wild speculation about the nature of her planned abdominal surgery and subsequent months-long absence from the public eye, has again put this scrutiny on Kensington Palace over its handling of this situation and specifically the media. And while most agree that everyone, including members of the royal family, are entitled to privacy, Catherine is still the future Queen of England. And given the speculation and, frankly, criticism that's been building for weeks ahead of that extraordinary video statement, royal observers are saying that palace staff should have known better and handled things much differently. Tony, Lilia.
Imtiaz, great to have you. Thanks.